And it's another beautiful morning in the British Virgin Islands. We're on the Sunreef 74 Obsession, and we're going to have a tour of the foredeck on this boat. There's some unique features here. You've got frameless recessed deck hatches, so they're not proud and they don't have aluminum frames around the hatches. And you can see these all the way down the sides of the boat. Here you've got your two trampolines. Nothing too unusual here. What you're noticing is there's no martingale here. Most catamarans have some stainless steel rigging with what's called a gull striker or martingale up here in the front. What Obsession was built with is this full cross beam right here, this structure through there, and the bowsprit here. Up here we've got a Balmar hydraulic furling drum. This is controlled at the Flybridge. There's controls on the port and starboard side of the boat. A huge upgrade on this boat is the sail package. This boat was ordered with a suit of sails, not from Sunreef, but from North Sails. And these are called 3DIs. They're extremely expensive sails. They're super durable. They hold their shape better than any other sail material that we know of now. And these are the best sails available from North Sails. They're a little bit more of a cruising performance sail. I normally see these on catamarans, like gunboats, for example. This sail package new is around $150,000 for this boat. They're in excellent shape. Last month when the boat was coming up from Grenada, sails had been dropped off on the way down at the sail loft at North and Antigua, and the guys there went through the sails, made any small repairs, checked all the stitching, and put a new UV strip on this, a update on the luff on the mainsail. So the boats have really maybe a couple days of sailing time on them since that last inspection. So they're good to go. This is all carbon fiber, super strong, very lightweight, and beautifully built. And it gives the boat very clean lines. When the owner has his grandchildren on board, there's stanchions that fit in that fitting there, here, and there. And then the cables attach here. So there's 4 cables that go on the stanchion all the way across. So you've got a nice structure there. Obsession was built with extra high stanchions, and it's solid railing all the way around the boat. Most boats, the stanchion heights are a maximum of this height here, and it's all cable. But Obsession has stainless steel railing all the way around. You can see the teak inlay here on the cross beam. You've got 2 large anchors and 2 separate anchor windlasses. You've got a chain counter and control up on the Flybridge for the quick anchor windlasses. We've got a baby stay here, inner forestay. You can run a stay sail off of this. We're in the starboard forward crew cabin. There's air conditioning here, full-size berth. This bit folds up here and makes for a more of a living space. There's a toilet and shower and sink area. It's not luxurious, but for crew, it's totally livable. And the owner's grandchildren love these cabins. So it really works out well. There's one on both sides. They're slightly different, but very similar, and I'll show you what the space looks like on the other side. Port side forward crew cabin. We'll have a brief look in here. It's nicely finished. There's a head shower and sink in here, fully air conditioned with its own temperature control, ladder to easily get in and out. You got sky screens here for privacy and to keep sunlight and heat out. Walking down into the aft cockpit area, you'll see how much space there is here for living. Huge dining table. There's occasional chairs that set up around here and on the ends for alfresco dining outside. This is all beautifully upholstered, very high-end upholstery. Nice lounging area. These are the steps up to the Flybridge. Here we have our wet bar. There's an ice maker in this fridge compartment, or in this freezer compartment here. Fridge there, another fridge here. This is a power outlet if you want to run a blender. There's another power outlet down underneath that seat. And this is neat. So you can see the pad eye there and the pad eye there, that's designed for hanging a hammock. This is a Williams diesel jet tender. You can see it has a jet drive. There's no big outboard on the back. And it is lifted off of the chocks here on the aft deck, which opens this area up. There's a set of struts that actually lift the dinghy up and then take it out beyond the transom of the boat and then drop it down into the water. And it's operated with a wireless remote. There's also an enclosure that goes all the way around the cockpit. You can see the tracks up here in the ceiling. They're not attached right now. On the aft deck, on both sides, port and starboard, we've got a maneuvering winch. This allows you to pull in the dock lines. You've got a control button here, and it helps maneuver the boat, particularly if there's a lot of wind or load on it coming into a dock. Makes the boat super easy to maneuver, particularly with the two bow thrusters. All right, we're gonna go up here and have a look at the Flybridge. This is a great feature. So if it's raining or you've got bad weather, you have small children up here, you want to secure the Flybridge area, you have this huge door which gives you plenty of space to come up and down. It's got a hydraulic piston on. It's quite easy to secure. So that keeps rain from coming down into the lower cockpit area, or if you're offshore and you've got a lot big seas, it easily lifts up, secures that access to the Flybridge. We've got a couple different spaces here. Here we've got this huge lounging area that goes all the way around the back of the settee area and actually comes down around this side. We have seating here for easily 10 people for alfresco, dinner, lunch. Breakfast up here on the Flybridge, if it's not too windy in the morning, is really quite nice. Here we have a fridge and an ice maker. This whole area encloses, so you can see this track here around the top goes around here. So in really inclement weather, the entire helm station can be fully enclosed in isinglass. And there's a track that goes all the way around this, attaches to the roof there, comes back around this side and comes down. These are the buttons that control the height of that table. You can see there's beautifully crafted stainless steel hydraulic lifts that raise and lower that. As we're looking down here, you can see the courtesy lights, and those stainless steel fittings are power outlets. I just wanted you to see what the space looks like here. You could probably have, a group of 4 people lounging here, maybe halfway in the shade, halfway in the sun. This is a bag holding some of the clear isinglass. Beautiful cushion area all the way around the boat. Nice integrated ladder, so in case you ever needed to go up on the top of the bimini, it's quite easy to get up here and you've got full access to the boom. So a concern I hear from clients about Flybridge boats is a lot of times they're worried about accessibility to get up to get on the boom. They need to do something with the mainsail. This has a hydraulic roller furling main, so it's very easy to use. There's very little that anyone would have to do up here, but if the sail ever needed to come off for some reason, it's very easy to access. There's a sail cover that goes all the way back and forth and has a bolt rope that goes in a track here, so the mainsail is totally covered and protected. And you've got a huge amount of space up here. I've seen people put stand-up paddle boards, kayaks, surfboards, things like that normally take up a lot of space on board, but you can see there's a huge amount of room here on the top of this hardtop bimini. So you can store some things here and have really good access to the mainsail. Very easy to get up and down with this integrated ladder that actually doesn't look like a ladder at all. So to raise and lower the mainsail on Obsession, we have our main halyard lead here. We also have 2 buttons. These control the hydraulic mandrel that rolls up the roller furling mainsail that's contained in the boom that I showed you earlier. This button rolls it in, this button rolls it out. So you use one button to release the mainsail, and then you pull it with the 2-speed winch here. You got a high speed and low speed. Raise the mainsail up as you're releasing it here. Here you've got your furling controls for it says Genoa, but we have a jib on this boat, and also for the Gennaker, and on this boat we have a code 0 and also a spinnaker. This is a Harken 1000 electric 2-speed winch. You have your low speed and high speed. This particular winch has 2 different setups: high and low speed normal operation, like the 1000 here, and also reversible. This allows any of the sheets with tension on it, and in this particular case we primarily use this for our main sheet control, but we can also use it as the spinnaker halyard, and we also have a spare halyard attached to that. But for the main sheet it's very useful, so either from here with using these buttons or from using the sail whiz, you can ease the mainsail in and out without having to touch it. Once again, another one of these great features that's on Obsession that allows the boat to be easily handled with short crew. On the other side, I'll show you the sail control lines we have here. On this side, we've got a couple lines here. One's for the boom preventer. That's a line that goes out to the side if you're sailing downwind. And then also we've got a control for the topping lift. It's attached to the end of the boom. We've got another halyard here, and then also the double-ended jib sheet. That's controlled from the winch on this side. And what I showed you earlier, these are so neat, is these controls. So if you wanted to use the clutch function, you release the line here and it pulls tight, and then to pull it back, you pull it back and it releases the tension off of the sheet and allows it to roll through. It's like one of those Chinese finger cuffs you probably played with as a kid. It really saves the exterior cover of the lines so they don't get as much wear as they would on a high load item that's getting used quite a bit in a traditional line clutch. This line here, we've got one on both sides of the boat. These are the sheets for either the spinnaker or the code 0. So they come and they lead through the deck here. They go to a turning block that goes on that pad eye there on the deck, goes underneath the deck, and then comes out up here on the Flybridge. And these sheets are led up to the Harken 1000 2-speed winches here where we have the jib sheet. Really easy to operate, and this is great. So you can have these lines here ready when you're sailing, but they're not in the way when people are walking up and down the passageway on the side of the boat. Obsession has a self-tacking jib. The jib's a little bit smaller than a Genoa. It tacks in front of the mast. Obsession's been set up to be a very easy boat to sail, even though it's a very sophisticated yacht. So here you can see the self-tacking jib track. This is controlled from the helm. And up here on the mast, we've got a few releases for various halyards. We've got one here for the code 0. This is for the baby stay on the inner forestay. You can run a staysail off of that. It gives the mast some additional support if needed. Obsession's set up with a lot of backup systems on it, and they're always prepared for worst case scenarios, and that's designed in the boat. So we have a hydraulic furling mainsail that's on a mandrel that spins around there. It's hydraulically actuated, and these are the hoses that connect to that hydraulic mandrel. If for some reason you needed to furl the mainsail in an emergency, these quick release couplings come apart. You can connect them back together and attach a line up on the drum to where it's easy to bring the mainsail back in if for some reason there was a loss of hydraulic pressure or some sort of leak or something like that. That's a backup system there. Very, very simple, but also very sophisticated, and that just gives you an idea of the forethought that was done by a very experienced captain, crew, and owner when Obsession was built at the Sunreef factory in 2016. Here you can see the hydraulic ram. So most catamarans don't have a hydraulic vang or a vang at all. And the reason being is we have a roller furling mainsail, and it's very important that the boom be at the right position when it's going up on the track here. You can see the carbon fiber track that comes off the carbon fiber mast. And it's important that the boom be at the right position. On the SailWiz control, we have a digital display that tells us exactly the position it needs to be in. And we use the vang to position it so that it goes up without putting any undue pressure on the head of the sail and the bolt rope as it slides up the mainsail. You got a backup here. This is a sleeve that's used when the boat's not sailing, just to prevent the boom from coming down. When the boat's sailing, this is removed and the hydraulic ram's allowed to move freely. This is just done when the boat's being stored. Here you can see there's a release here for the drum. That opens that up and allows the sail to freely move up or down. And we can see the load sensor there on the side of the universal on the boom. Beautiful hardware, real craftsmanship there, and technically advanced carbon fiber and stainless steel universal joint for the boom. Your standard Sunreef 74 has an aluminum mast, an aluminum boom. Obsession was upgraded with a fully carbon fiber mast, carbon fiber Park Avenue or canoe style boom. This totally contains the mainsail. You can see these control lines here. They actually pull a sail cover all the way down the top of the boom to protect the mainsail when it's not in use. This is the Traveler. There's a electric flat winder that operates the Traveler here on Obsession. And I'm just going to release the boom preventer here and then show you how this moves. So there's no line to actually hold in your hand when moving the Traveler on Obsession. It goes into that flat winder over there on that side, and we'll go ahead and just move it down here. You can see how easily that moves. And that's a push button control from the helm. And we'll put it back, and I'll put the preventer back on. Yeah, that easy, done. We're here on the aft deck. Got a few things I wanted to point out. This is the satellite dome for the Iridium sat phone. We have two 8-man life rafts. These have just been recertified. It's got a hydrostatic release here on the top. As we move down, this is the Wi-Fi booster antenna, TV antenna. This is the receiver for the Navtex at the Fierno display at the nav station. It gives you navigation information, notice to mariners, GPS coordinates, that sort of thing. The other 8-man life raft. And then over here, we've got a XM radio antenna there. Antil flat winder, that's for the Traveler control. So imagine traveling all day. You finally arrive in the British Virgin Islands, and this is your yacht on the dock as you walk down with your family and friends. It's pretty impressive, isn't it?